I'm Anna Karczewska-Słowikowska. I was wandering around the village because I wanted to stay here in the borders, which I love the borders. And I came across this plot of land with this old house on it, or 1950s house, which wasn't very exciting, but it had potential. And I saw the land here, and I'm a land person and love trees, and that was it. It's the light, it's the trees specifically. There's a burn down by the side, so you hear the water. And I just wanted to sort of be in the middle of this area here with glass all around me so I could take in the animals. We have deer wandering around, we have birds, we have pheasants. Ideal. The brief to Matthew, when we were discussing what I wanted, there was one word that came up. I wanted something elegant. And I think that's what I've got. I've got an elegant house that fits in with the landscape. It's almost like a Heidi house, if you like. I don't know whether you've seen the film Heidi, but it goes up into the mountains in this wooden, and that's the sort of house I wanted. I saw Heidi as a child with my mother, and my children always refer to this as my Heidi house, I mean, if that makes sense. Clean lines, modern, and it was a way of getting away from the old and having something new. And at my age, I have realised about architecture. I've always loved architecture and other people's houses, but I realise now that you can make it yourself, and be creative. And I'd do it again, if I could. Definitely do it again. Yeah, build this, something like this, or something maybe slightly different, but I'm happy here, very happy. Having the wood inside, having taken the outside and bringing this wood into the building, I think was be my biggest contribution. I wouldn't have liked that not to have been here and just had it all plain. I'm hoping to maybe paint the odd wall, but I'm not allowed to just yet.
I am Singavang, and I and my husband did this project alongside Nick. I'm originally from this island, Muckleroe. What we wanted was a home that could easily accommodate us and our children, but would also be attractive for other people to use, both for our friends and family, so that we didn't want a house sitting here unused for months on end. It was important to me that the outward appearance of the chapel didn't change that much. For the local community, this is a special place. Some of them were married in this. They've said goodbye to their loved ones in this. It's a part of the community, so it was really important to me that the visual impact didn't change significantly. So anything that we did had to complement the building. It was important to just try and preserve anything that was here. By the time we bought the chapel, there was very little left inside. It was a simple building. So we used the hooks from the vestry and got them coated. There was only a couple of pews left, but we managed to incorporate them. The old communion table was there. There was a little bit of rot in the legs, but we've managed to shorten that and using that as the coffee table. It was quite important for me just to preserve whatever was left and somehow incorporate it in. We have a Scandinavian connection. My husband is actually from the Faroe Islands, and there's probably a lot of Scandinavian influence come into the house here as well, because we see what we like when we're up there, and we draw from that. And in Scandinavia, they have a word hygge, hyggeligt, or honaligt, that means just cosy, nice. You're thinking sitting around the fire with your family, enjoying times together, cosy in a lovely atmosphere is hygge. That's one word I would use for here. You come here and you just relax. It's all about spending time with family.
My name is Jo Green, and I always had a hunger to do up or find an old ruin, and a chance meeting gave us an opportunity to meet the owner of this ruin, who had bought it for his wife. She'd fallen in love with it. Then they realised it was too big for their needs. They're retired. So they did up a smaller bothy at the back. And so we were sort of interviewed to check that we had the right intentions and weren't a developer. So he showed me round, and I had to think on my feet and sort of creatively talk about what the rooms could be and how I liked things to be and how I wanted to reuse the beams and reuse the old doors and flagstones and open spaces and as much light and glass as possible. But I had a very strict idea of what I wanted, how I wanted us to live as a family, and I feel that we have absolutely ticked that box. I would say it's very important to work out how you like to live as a family, how you like to entertain, how you like to have quiet couple moments just as a husband and wife, and then how you like to be with your children, and then your children need to be able to go off and have a quiet space, so to leave you together to have a conversation. And I think working out how you operate as a family. And I also think just going online and looking at magazines and tearing out pages from magazines of anything you like and piecing together a vision of what appeals to you. I think the kitchen, which is a bit sad to say I like my kitchen, but I feel very happy. It's light, it's airy. I don't feel claustrophobic. I don't feel enclosed in a place of work. It's a place I want to be. I love our entrance hall with the swing. That was a very sort of playful little touch, which I was adamant that I wanted, and I think everyone thought I was slightly mad, but I insisted. But hey, we all use it, and even my husband sits there to read the paper on a Sunday morning, so he's delighted too.
My name's Kieran Gaffney. I'm the architect for this little extension. We had to dig down 2 feet into the ground. Actually, it was more like 1.5 meters by the time you have all the insulation and foundation and things. So by the time we'd done that, we'd spent quite a lot of the budget. So we had to find a way to build the top of the building, of the extension, more cheaply. And we did that by using a simple system based on the Walter Siegel method of building. They wanted something beautiful and interesting, but they also wanted something that met their brief, which was a kitchen, a dining space and some living space, and that connection to the garden. Clients talk to us a lot about that. Most of our clients come to us asking, can we make a better connection to the garden? Can we get more light into the house? So those are also kind of standard things. But I think this client were quite ambitious in the aesthetics of the thing they wanted. They wanted something that was not normal looking. And so we were looking for a way for it not just to be about big bits of glass or big sliding doors. And this was a good opportunity to do that. Because of its orientation, a lot of the glass faces to the west and faces north as well. So we didn't necessarily need a full glass screen everywhere. This was about picking where to get the light from, rather than just having light from everywhere. I like the sequence of when you come in the house and you see through a room out to through a glass door and then along by the side of the building. And I like the pattern internally. So we've got this, we've got the structure, and then above that we have sarking boards which we've painted white. And there's a nice thing I like about the lines, how the lines cross each other. The long lines going the direction of the extension, and the structural lines across the way.
I'm Daniel Penman. This is my home. The building previously was, if I was saying to folk there, it was as if it was designed to block out the light. The only place you could get any natural sunlight was in the kitchen doing dishes, which cancels out any feel-good factor. So now we get it all day long. And because the rear facade there, because it's at that angle, when the sun approaches in the morning, if you look out the top right pane, it looks like the sun's actually at 12 o'clock. And then as the sun sets later on in the day, whether it's in the winter or in the summer, it comes over the shoulder of the house and reflects out the same pane, and again you look up, it's like it's 12 o'clock and there's a shadow behind you. So no, it's just been fantastic to catch up on 3 years deprived of natural sunlight. I guess it is a bit different. It makes a bit of an impact when you see it the first time. I'm kind of used to it just now. I think it's as functional as it is beautiful. It's designed basically to bring in the light, which we've lacked for the few years since we moved in. We had a lot of input, I think, into the design with David. It was a thing that evolved along the way. So I've got a bit of blood, sweat and tears in it. Most of the bad handiwork you'll see around it is mine. So yeah, we thought we would move to Sweden one day, and this felt like all this kind of came as standard. It's a bit more out there over here, but fortunately we found David, who was able to help us.
And how has it changed your life?
I look forward to getting up in the morning. I think it's the difference, walking downstairs and enjoying all the sunlight flooding into the house. More space to different places to be by yourself and be in ones and twos, but still open plan, still really sociable, somewhere to have friends round. And although we've taken a big slice off it, we've still got a big back garden, which I think is really what justified doing what we've done. It's a big garden in a nice part of town with a very private, secluded outlook.
Hello, my name's David Blakey. I'm the architect for the project at East Claremont Street. When we set out to first of all restore and protect this, it's a very beautiful building. The plasterwork in the other rooms, it was all a bit shabby, and we just needed a bit of love and care to bring it back to life. But in doing that, we were asked to add to the building as well, to change the nature of the building from being a totally internal facing building to a building that also faced out towards the garden. And in doing that, it was looking at how we would put something on the outside that was completely light, completely see-through, and how it would very, very lightly touch the fabric of the building. And that's what we set out to achieve, and we think that's what we've done. Working with fabulous contractors and tradesmen makes our life a lot easier. But when I look round, what I see is absolutely minimal interface between the new and the old, and that allows all of the qualities of the old materials, the stone, the craftsmanship, the workmanship, the history of the stone, the quarries that it came from, to remain and have its dignity, whilst we introduce and bring up to it modern technology that speaks of the 21st century. And it's that interface and keeping that as light and as simple as possible. Part of what we were trying to do was to bring the building up to 21st century standards. So when we look throughout, there's modern lighting, there's modern electrics. We've introduced all the sustainability features that a building of this age can withstand. But it's that interface between old and new that is what we were trying to achieve and what we think we've managed to do here.